A lot of people still have the notion that Japan is a futuristic country that's technologically advanced compared to the rest of the world, but that isn't exactly correct. Forget about the robots, Gundams, crazy trains, and super bidet toilets, which are amazing, by the way, don't get me wrong. They still have a lot of old technology. Let me give you an example. What's an easy way to send and receive documents or images? Maybe you're thinking email or Dropbox, AirDrop. Even text message could work. That's way too convenient. Let me ask you this. Do you know what a fax machine is? Do you know anybody who still uses a fax machine? We're not cavemen anymore. We have technology. But not Japan. For those who don't know, a fax machine is a printer connected to a telephone number that allows you to send documents and images scanned from a physical copy to another fax machine somewhere else. It also makes a horrible sound when sending and receiving faxes. In fact, it's a staple in many offices in Japan still to this day. Now, not everyone uses it, but I think it's safe to say that most do. There are so many ways to send things, but the older generations still make up a majority of the workforce there, and they aren't usually keen on taking up new technology. I mean, my work computer still ran on Windows Vista. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember that, but that was released in 2007. I'm not sure how I was able to get any work done, but hey, still better than a fax machine. Some of you may know that Japan has an interesting way of sorting their garbage. I won't go in depth, but the gist of it is that garbage is separated into a few main categories: burnables, non-burnables, recyclables, and oversized garbage. It's up to you to sort through your trash and decide which is suitable for each category. Sorting trash is very important. I've heard stories of old ladies sorting through other people's trash and returning it to them if it wasn't done correctly. But in my tiny country town, people followed the rules a little more loosely. I remember my coworkers would pretty much throw anything in the burnables unless it was glass, plastic bottles, or cardboard. Everything else would just be tossed in the burnable pile. Farmers took things one step further and they'd just burn everything themselves. Recyclable or not, they'd burn most of the garbage in the fields. Now, not all of them would do that, but I've seen plenty of half-burned piles of Boss coffee cans in the rice fields. I specifically remember some friends and I were camping on an island off the coast of northern Nagasaki called Iki. We were chilling at the park area next to the beach when what I assumed was a farmer drove by in his little K-car. Side note, all these farmers have these things. They're quintessential if you're a farmer. Small enough to fit on tiny roads, but enough space in the back to haul whatever you need. He stopped in front of the big metal barrel and proceeded to toss the entire bag into it. And then he just sets it ablaze and then left. This was in broad daylight in front of a bunch of other people. There were like 20 plus gaijins just watching this dude burn trash. As the smoke made its way toward us, I realized the dude was burning plastic, and a lot of it. Pretty sure this wasn't his first time doing something like that. Speaking of garbage, why does my single banana need to be packaged in plastic? Fruit does not need to be wrapped in 20 layers of plastic. But I will say this, fruit tastes so much better in Japan. So, Japan has 3 alphabets in a sense. Kanji, which are just Chinese characters that can be pronounced in many ways depending on how they're used. Hiragana, which are phonetically pronounced, and katakana, which are also phonetically pronounced, but they usually stand for loanwords borrowed from other languages. For someone just learning Japanese, encountering a word in katakana is like trying to solve a riddle. Whenever I tried to read any of these words, my tiny peanut brain would short circuit. I would read them like a baby sounding out their first words. Doing it in this way makes it a little difficult to figure out the meaning of the word. I'll give you some examples. Time for a little Japanese lesson. Sumato. Sumato. That's smart. Dorama. Dorama. That's drama. Saka. Saka. That one's a little bit easier. That's soccer. Keiki. Keiki. Cake. Those are just some examples. Japanese lesson over. I remember this time I was eating lunch with my coworkers during my first few weeks in Japan. I was practicing my reading skills by reading the pictures on the wall. Suteki. 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 What is this word? What the hell is this word? Steak. What? It's steak? It was steak all along. When said fast, it kind of sounds like steak. But suteki? Why can't they just say steak? I felt really embarrassed that I couldn't read something so simple. But that's just the beginning of embarrassing things that can happen to you if you live in Japan as a foreigner. Just gotta go with it. Thanks for watching my first video. This was a lot more difficult to put together than I thought it would. Mostly because I'm doing all the drawings on Procreate and Animation 2. I didn't think it'd be so difficult to use Procreate Animation, but it's a pretty simple program, and I think I just complicated things. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video to the end, and if you've made it this far, I can't thank you enough. There are more videos to come, I just don't know how frequently I can put it out. But I'm gonna do my best. Okay, bye.